And we do this the second and fourth Monday of each month through the COWS library system. Typically, we meet at the main downtown branch, but obviously circumstances are preventing us from doing that currently. So we're meeting here online via Zoom. Our meetings at the downtown main branch are usually about an hour long, but Zoom fatigue is a phrase that I've been hearing a lot and reading a lot lately, and it's becoming one of our more culturally relevant phrases. And so we recognize that there's some Zoom fatigue with people. So I try to actually cut these in half for our online time together, just to try to respect everybody's time, but also to not keep you locked into a computer screen for too terribly long. Anyway, all that to say, we'll begin here now, and we'll wrap up around 12:30 or so. But thank you everybody for being here. I want to spend just a moment in a brief teaching and then a meditation on equanimity. And equanimity, if you're not familiar with it, it comes from a Latin word that's got actually two Latin words that mean even mind, even-mindedness. And that's essentially what equanimity is. It's maintaining this sense of even-mindedness. But to explain it, I want to tell you a quick story. A couple of weeks ago, our family loaded up in our van. We drove over to Hot Springs out to Lake Catherine. Now, if you've ever been to Lake Catherine, you know that there's a little swimming area with a beach. There's a nice pavilion with some picnic tables. And so our family went, and we got there about 4:30 or 5 in the evening. A lot of folks who had been out there throughout the day were already done. They were loading up and heading home for the day. And there were still a handful of folks out there. Not long after we arrived, it was about 30 minutes or so after we arrived, these big storm clouds came rolling in. And the rest of the people who were there saw these storm clouds coming. They loaded up their stuff and they got out. We had only been there a short time, so we weren't ready to go back home just yet. So we hunkered down under the pavilion and we watched as these little raindrops just started here and there. It was just a light sprinkle, nothing major. And this went on for a little while. And finally I decided, we're the only people here. I'm going to go out in the lake and swim. Before coronavirus, I used to swim a lot, swim laps at a community fitness center. And so I consider myself a fairly strong swimmer. And so I started swimming out into the lake. I was the only one out there. It's this beautiful, serene place with these hills and bluffs all around the water. And as far as I could see, there was nobody else out in the water. It was just me and these raindrops. It was super peaceful. And so I kept swimming out. As I got a good distance from shore, all of a sudden, I hear this loud cackle of thunder, and lightning flashed, and the wind picked up. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the clouds opened up and the water just poured down. And so I'm out in the middle of this lake in a massive all-out thunderstorm. So I turn and I start hightailing it back to the shore. And I was obviously a bit urgent to get out of the water. But as I swam, the longer I went, I began to realize something, that whenever I would go come up for air above the water, it was chaos, it was noise, it was loud, it was this massive storm. But when I would go back under the water, it was calm, it was peaceful. You would really have no way of knowing what was going on the surface if you were under the water. And so under the water was total calm stillness, even though just above the surface was absolute chaos. And that feeling, that sensation of going from chaos into peace and chaos into peace, that sensation has stayed with me. And that is one of the ways of talking about equanimity, having this even-mindedness, that no matter what's going on around you, no matter what storm or chaos there is on the surface, you're maintaining this deep sense of peace, this deep sense of stability, this deep sense of calm below the surface, deep within yourself. And that's what we're really after. And in a lot of ways, I think that that's what meditation and mindfulness are for, that they give us that ability and give us that practice of maintaining calm focus enough to where it becomes our brain's default setting. So no matter what's happening around us, we arrive at that place automatically. And so that's the meditation that I want to walk us through today, is on equanimity. One of the interesting things too about equanimity is that it has a deep neurological connection as well, that we have these two hemispheres of our brain, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. And maybe you have talked about yourself as being left-brained or right-brained. People who are left-brained tend to be a little bit more logical, analytical, rational, Our right brains tend to be more creative, expressive, emotional. Obviously, you don't just use one side of your brain or the other, but for some of us, one side is a little bit more dominant than the other side. It's more of our default setting. So I don't know if you consider yourself more left-brained or right-brained, but really we all use both sides of our brain from time to time. And it's also interesting to me that the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body, and the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body. And so there has to be this, this connection, this crossover in our brains. Both sides have to be working in sync with each other in order for our bodies to function the way that they're designed to. So all that to say, one of the biggest benefits of meditation, especially when it comes to equanimity, is that it strengthens the tissue area between the two hemispheres of the brain called the corpus callosum. And the corpus callosum is where all of those connections really get formed and strengthened, so that both sides of the brain can work in sync and in harmony with each other, so that we can really reach that state of even-mindedness to the furthest extent possible. So meditation and mindfulness, a consistent meditation and mindfulness practice, strengthens that area so that it actually not just strengthens, but actually generates more and more connections between the two hemispheres of the brain. So that's what I want to walk us through today, is a mindful meditation that strengthens our sense of equanimity, that strengthens the connection between the two hemispheres of the brain, and that helps us arrive at that state of peace, at that state below the surface of the lake, where even though there's chaos going on around us, we can tap into that sense of calm. So I have just talked for a long time. Let's get into it. To begin, let's just find a comfortable posture. If you're sitting in a chair like I am, have your feet flat on the floor. I like to place my hands on top of my knees, palms down. Some people place their hands on their knees, palms up. Other people might just fold their hands in their lap comfortably. It really doesn't matter what you do, as long as you can maintain this posture for about 10 or 15 minutes. But your feet flat on the floor, your legs about hip-width distance apart, and your hands folded or placed on your legs comfortably in a mindful way. And don't be rigid. If you feel yourself straining to hold yourself up, relax that a little bit, but don't go so relaxed that you're slouching. You want to be attentive and mindful, but not too rigid and not too relaxed. If it helps, you might stretch your back a little bit, give a little twist to each side. You might pull your shoulder blades together and pull your shoulders back, and then spread your shoulder blades apart, and just really settle into this mindful posture. If you want to, you can even roll your head around on your neck, and then roll it back the other way. But notice how it feels to maintain this feeling, this posture of mindfulness. Don't worry about what your mind's doing. If you're thinking about other things, or if you're a little bit distracted, that's okay. We don't have to get to an instant place of focus right away. Just maintain your posture. Notice how it feels to be mindful and aware. Maybe move your focus down to the bottom of your feet. Feel your feet planted firmly on the floor. Or if you're seated on a cushion, or maybe even kneeling, just notice the place where your body makes contact with the floor, and just be aware of it. And if you're able to, take in your whole body at once. Just notice how your body is seated mindfully. Notice any sensations you're feeling. If there's some tension in your neck or shoulders, if you feel yourself pulling your shoulders up, let that relax. Let gravity just pull your shoulders down. Notice if you're straining in your lower back or in your abdomen anywhere, and just let everything relax. Notice any sensations you feel maybe on your skin, if there's air blowing on you, or the feeling of your clothes on your skin. Just be aware and just notice. If it helps, put a little smile on your face. We can be happy when we're being mindfully aware of our body. And now, in this mindful posture, maintaining how you're sitting, just tilt your chin down slightly to where your eyes are gazing down at the floor. And don't look at anything in particular. Try not to let your eyes wander, but just let them settle in a place a couple feet in front of you. If you're looking at something like your desk or somewhere in the room that's a little bit distracting, it might help if you angle your body another direction so that you can see all the way down to the floor and just let your gaze settle there. And if it's too distracting to keep your eyes open, you can close them, but leaving them open is fine too. Go ahead and relax your jaw. You can let your tongue rest on the bottom of your mouth, or you can rest the tip of your tongue on the back of your upper palate between your two front teeth. Whatever helps you feel more mindful, more focused. Just maintain this mindful posture. If when you relaxed your jaw, your lips open a little bit, that's okay too. You can either keep your mouth closed or let your lips come apart just slightly. But begin to be fully aware of your body, fully aware of what your feet are doing, what your hands are doing. As you settle into this mindful posture, you might start to feel your pulse in your chest, and that's good. You're becoming aware. You can put your focus on that if you want. Let's turn our attention now to our breath. Inhale deeply through your nose, all the way down into your belly. And exhale it all out. Do that again and let your belly fill up like a balloon. And breathe it all out. Do that a couple more times. And as you do, notice the air as it comes in and follow it all the way out. Just as you were mindful of your body and mindful of your posture, now be mindful of your breath. Notice it. Place your focus there. And continue to breathe deep into your belly and then breathe all the way out. Notice how your breath makes subtle movements take place in your body. Maybe your arms move a little on your inhale. Maybe your legs come up a little bit on your exhale. But just notice what your body and your breath are doing together. And let that conscious awareness integrate between breath and body to where you're fully aware of both at the same time. Let's start to move our focus now to our mind. If your mind has been wandering, if there are thoughts that are coming in and out, that's okay. We can't stop what comes into our mind, but we can decide how to mindfully engage with it. So maintain the focus on your mindful posture and maintain a focus on your mindful breath. Let it return to a normal rhythm. Mindful posture and mindful breath. And now turn to a mindful mind. Notice the thoughts that are coming into your mind. And you can name them. You can say something like, I'm thinking about work. Or I'm thinking about a conversation I had. Or I'm thinking about meditating. And as you maintain your mindful posture and you maintain your mindful breath, just observe what's happening in your mind. And as you observe your mind, let this full consciousness integrate between your mind, your breath, and your body. Become simultaneously aware of all three at once. And to exercise the two sides of our mind, move your attention over to one ear and notice the sounds coming into that ear. Don't try to block them out or escape them. Just notice what the sensation is on that side in your ear. And now gently slide your attention through your head all the way over to the other side, to the other ear. And notice the sounds you hear coming from that side. Gently slide over to the other side again. Now slide over again. And as you slide back and forth, notice how the attention shifting to one side or the other affects how your mind takes in the present moment. Now, whether your eyes are opened or closed, notice if you're looking through a dominant eye. Without moving your eyes, without shifting your vision, just shift the dominant focus from one eye to the other. And notice how that feels. Become fully aware of both sides of your body, activating both sides of the mind. And with this active consciousness, be fully aware of what your mind is doing. Be fully aware of what your breath is doing. And be fully aware of what your body is doing. All three are integrated together into one state of consciousness. And now for just a moment, imagine stepping slightly outside of yourself, not quite an out of body experience, but you're leaving just one layer beyond your body to observe your entire self, mind, breath, body. Observe how it feels to be focused this intently on your own self, on your own state of consciousness, on your own state of being. Notice how it feels to be this focused. Feel the strength that's within you to maintain your own state of being. No matter what's happening around you, no matter how loud or chaotic, no matter what noise you hear or distractions, you have it within you to maintain this state of consciousness that stays uninterrupted, that's at peace no matter what is happening around you. Continue to breathe. Continue to feel this state of focus. And if you're ready, you can start to wiggle your fingers and toes a bit. Return your mind to the present moment. Maybe stretch your back a little. And when you're ready, you can raise or open your eyes. Thank you for meditating with me today.